Thank you. Change tape right now. Okay.
So you're going to tell me? You don't mind telling me?
That song came about on a Saturday night. I was home and I was watching one of the shows. I believe it was Cops.
What?
Cops. And I don't know what network that's on there. And they were arresting parents. Two adults pulled up to a dealer, a phony dealer. It was a setup. They were buying crack, and they had two babies in the front seat. One was in the front, one was in the back seat. And as they proceeded to buy the crack, the police officers moved in, the whole bust came, and parents were hauled off to jail, and the kids went off to HRS. And these kids are crying while their mother is being pulled off into the wagon with her husband. The kids are going off with an HRS officer who they have no idea who that person is, and they're crying. And it just, it really, I guess it struck a nerve, and I just picked up the guitar, and this song came out, and I realized that, you know, that whole thing affected me in that way. And it was a shame that it happened, but, you know, the song came out because of that, and maybe that, you know, that's why I didn't want to play it, because I don't want to come off like I'm preaching or anything like that. It was just a song that came out because of that. You know, I don't think it's a great thing or one way or the other. You know, it's just a song.
You know, hearing you tell the story, and this does not minimize what you said at all. I don't want you to take it that way at all. But it strikes me as curious that when people think about writing or painting, or whether it's literature or whether it's music, you ordinarily think of it as being your own personal experience. And what you just told me is a story that's kind of unusual. It's a testimony to modern technology in the medium of television, that you vicariously experience something and were moved to write a song that I happen to think was beautiful. That is something that could only happen in this day and time. Heretofore, think about it, heretofore, right, people who expressed themselves in any artistic way, expressed themselves as a result of their direct personal experiences. We live in an age when people can say something potent and powerful, as that song is in my opinion, through a vicarious experience. However, let me ask you something. Is there a danger in that? Is there a danger in that? Is there a danger that vicarious experience becomes reality instead of first-hand experience?
Well, you know, you say the medium. I don't necessarily agree. I mean, you could live next door to somebody who's abusing their child and experience that, and it's not necessarily vicarious. I don't know, maybe there's more horror brought into our living room, but I don't think just because of the medium it makes it vicarious. You're still seeing something that affects you happening, whether you're there or whether it's on the television.
Right here on this poster, right here. Johnny Mac Brown. When I was a kid, Johnny Mac Brown, I'd see him on Saturday afternoon shoot 'em up. The myth, the concept of the cowboy, in most people's mind, is defined by a secondary medium, not by first-hand experiences, people who live in this century. When you think of cowboys, you think of movie cowboys or the definition of cowboys that comes from the movie. What is that definition? That definition, to a great extent, is the Anglo-Saxon white male. Right? In reality, the cowboy was a multi-ethnic person. Now back to the music we're talking about here. We're talking about country music here. In reality, a lot of people think of country music as an expression of white, Anglo-Saxon, predominantly male viewpoint. Country music is something more than that, is it not? You see what I'm trying to do?
Yeah.
Well, in response to that, I remember as a kid, my grandfather was Spanish. He was a Spaniard. And he used to sit around and play these old Spanish folk tunes. And they were basically country songs sung in Spanish. They still had the ranchero music, you know, and here, I can get on with this. I gave him a speech on it a while back, and
we were all
enthralled, you could say.
So it's a standing joke with us that when he brings up ranchero music, soon he will bring up Celtic influence.
You'll bring up what?
The Celtic influence.
Oh, I see.
Well, the Spaniards introduced
He's
the horse.
watched a little bit too much Channel 2.
To this country. and
Public television.
you know, and the first cowboys were Spaniards, you know, and they called rancheros and vaqueros, you know, which were the first cowboys, really.
They designed that saddle you see above you.
Right. You know, so I think the ethnic part of it has always been there. I think maybe some people chose to ignore it, and maybe it was misguided prejudices or whatever. You know, I don't know what exactly the reasons or the roots of it are, but I think definitely we've had Chinese cowboys. You know, what about all the Chinese that worked on the railroads out west? You know, they count. They were gun toting and wearing hats and boots and working on the railroads just like everybody else did.
Blacks,
Mexicans, whites. You know, so I think that has always been part of.
Why do you suppose the myth? Let's move away from the myth of the cowboy for a moment and go back to the myth of country music. Why is the myth of country music in most people's minds, or in a hell of a lot of people's minds, this white, Anglo-Saxon, as I said earlier, expression of rural, bygone America?
Perhaps,
Why does it exist that way?
because perhaps some of the most celebrated stars were that people, that bunch of group.
Roy Rodman.
Right, the most celebrated, the most high profile, which may not have represented truly or most accurately what made up the cowboy or the country singer, cowboy country singer.
But they were a definite part of it.
But they were a big part of it. They were the ones that perhaps you saw more on TV or on movies when, in fact, there was the Mexican version of it and all the others as well.
Yeah, I bet maybe there's some deep-rooted reasons that maybe we shouldn't get into, but there's probably a certain amount of racism.
Yeah.
You know.
Go ahead, get into it.
And I'm sure that has.
Oh, he will.
You know.
Go ahead.
One of the first Opry stars was DeFord Bailey, who was a black man, harmonica player. You know, he's one of the first Opry stars. Yet,
Grand Ole Opry.
Grand Ole Opry. Oh yeah, Nashville, Tennessee, at the Reynolds. He's one of the first, you could say, Opry stars, with a black man. You know, and yet he's written about in the history books. You know, but you don't see his pictures up in a lot of places. When you think of country music, you don't think of DeFord Bailey. You know, you think of the Carter family, or George Jones, or the white rural.
When Charlie Pride's first album was released, they did not put his picture on the cover.
Right.
Country Charlie Pride.
And he didn't sound like you might have expected to sound. There was a lot of that in the 50s. Artists that sounded black when they were white.
Charlie Pride didn't come along in the 50s. He came along in the early 70s. But nevertheless,
right.
Even then, we got good stuff. Yeah.
Well, let's say portrait thing, but everybody's got to get together.
Okay, can you look over here for a second?
I don't know. It depends how you ask.
Can you please?
There you go.
Can you please look over here for a second?
like to move? There you go, and keep looking at the camera.
Just keep on looking at the camera.
Oh, look at the camera. Look at the camera move. Look natural, yet look staged. Yes, play your guitar. Pretend you're having a good time. Yet,
Yeah, go ahead, do that.
I'm really being serious. Let's try and not look staged, yet be staged.
Here's some casual, like impromptu kind of stuff. Move into the music.
Improvise, yet don't
But look at the camera.
Don't look at the camera.
No, don't look at the camera.
Don't look at the camera.
No, look at the camera now for a second.
Don't talk about your music. Talk about your stuff among yourselves. Rather.
Raul, do that song I hated the most. That Million Love. One of those songs we did.
One of your crappy
One of those boogie woogie.